You're listening to the Just Japan podcast. Everything you want to know about Japan.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Just Japan podcast. My name is Kevin O'Shea, and I am the host of the Just Japan podcast. And this is not a regular episode. This is a little kind of bonus thing, more kind of like an advertisement. Yet I'm just advertising things that I'm doing. So an advertisement with no money involved, unless I took money and I took it in one hand and passed it to my other hand. Well, it is a cloudy Saturday afternoon here in Kobe, Japan, where I'm recording this. There will be a regular episode coming out in just a few days, so don't worry. Early in the week is when I try to get the episodes out. So what I wanted to talk about is a couple of special things that are going on with the Just Japan podcast. First of all, I want to talk about justjapanstuff.com. Now, that has always been the kind of landing pad for the Just Japan podcast. But in the last month or so, I've been putting a lot more content there. In the past, it was just a place for the show notes for the podcast, but now I'm putting articles there about food, culture, all kinds of things about Japan. So first of all, I'm going to throw this out to you guys out there in Just Japan podcast land, whether you are in Japan now or you've traveled there in the past or you just want to go to Japan. I would be happy to post any of your writings on justjapanstuff.com. So, for example, if you have some travel stories that you would like to pen, to write down, and send to me, I will happily post them on justjapanstuff.com if they're appropriate and they fit and all of that stuff. If you'd like to write something about finding work in Japan or some travel tips to Japan, go ahead. Maybe you're not in Japan and you haven't been here, but you're a fan of manga or anime or cosplay. Well, why not write about it? Write about that thing that you're interested in. Write about manga, write about cosplay, write an article about it for me and send it to me. And again, if it's appropriate, I'll post it on justjapanstuff.com. Maybe you're someone who likes to cosplay and go to conventions in the US. Hey, write about it. I'd love to put, if it's Just Japan stuff, if it's about Japan, related to Japan, Japanese culture, history, music, whatever it may be, yeah. If there are some Japanese movies that you love, write a review. That would be cool. Of course, if you're interested in that, you can contact me on Twitter, on Facebook, or the best way, in this case, to send me an email at justjapanpodcast@gmail.com. All right, so, again, justjapanstuff.com. I'm really trying to turn that into a much bigger site, a cool Japan blog, lots of great info and content about Japan. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second piece of business has to do with a community project. You guys are the community. All of you who listen to this podcast are the Just Japan podcast community, and you guys are awesome because without you, there would be no Just Japan podcast. Without your support, your awesome enthusiasm, this show never would have made it to, almost 150 episodes. We're at 150 will be dropping next week. It just wouldn't have happened. So I would like to do a project with you guys. So what I would like to do is make a podcast episode that you're involved in. So this is what I'm asking you to do if you want to be involved in this project. I want you to, basically, the whole idea is, why do you like Japan, or why do you love Japan? What is it about Japan that gets you excited? Why do you like listening to this podcast? Because if you're interested in this podcast, I'm going to assume there's a good chance that you're interested in Japan. So, again, this is for people who live here, who lived here before, who've worked here, who studied here, who taught here. By the way, that sound is I'm on an escalator right now. It's making an announcement. But maybe you've never been to Japan. You're interested in Japan. Tell me why. So what I want you to do is I want you to record this. I want you to record it somehow, maybe on your iPhone, there's that escalator again. Record why you like Japan, what you like about Japan. So there's a few ways you could do it. You could use it, if you have a recording device or an MP3 recorder, you could do it. If you have any kind of smartphone device, you can do it that way. If you have an iPhone, there's the voice memo thing. That's great because you could just record it and email it directly from there. I'm sure Androids have something similar. If not, if you just have like a camera, if you want to film it and upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video, I can rip the audio out of it. If you just make a video and try to send it to me, then maybe I can rip the audio from the video. A lot of different ways to do it. So what I want you to do briefly, tell me why you like Japan. What's so cool about Japan? So it might be something like this. So I would want you to start off with your name and telling us where you're from. So maybe it would go like this. My name's Kevin O'Shea. I'm from Canada, and right now I'm living in Kobe, Japan. And I really love Japan for a lot of reasons. The food is absolutely fantastic. The people are friendly, and blah, 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 blah. I could go on and on, but something like that. Keep it to a few minutes and send me the piece, and I will put together an episode with submissions from people. And it'll be part of an episode, a wider episode. So you can do that, of course. If you want to do that, you can send those audio pieces to me at justjapanpodcast@gmail.com, justjapanpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you have any more questions about it, just contact me on the Twitters or on the Facebook or via email. So what I'm going to do, it is March 18th today. I'm going to give this a couple of weeks. I'm going to give you like 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today to send me an audio piece about why you like Japan. Why do you like Japan? And I will include you in an episode of the podcast because you're the guys who make it happen. You're the community. So this is the Just Japan Podcast Community Project. I'm going to write about this too and tweet out more information about it and write about it on the Facebook page too, of course. But get involved with the podcast. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, so again, this is just kind of a special little advertisement. I'm advertising for the Just Japan Podcast. I'm advertising myself. So again, a full episode is going to be coming out in just a few days. Of course, you can, all this stuff, you can contact me at justjapanpodcast@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter at jlandkev. Contact me through the Facebook page, Just Japan Stuff. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. And go to justjapanstuff.com, check it out. Pretty much every day there's going to be new content popping up there. There should be a bit of something for everybody. All right, guys, well, that's it for this little mini episode thingy. My name's Kevin. I live in Kobe, Japan, and I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. And remember, another way that you as community members can support the podcast is by sharing it, telling people about it, spreading the word, and getting more people to listen, to download the Just Japan podcast. Well, all right, that does it for me, folks. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. I'll be talking to you real soon.